Hey traders, checking in on the cryptocurrency space. We've seen a lot of red over the past couple of days, but a bounce is underway. Is it just a temporary bounce cooling off RSI, or is this bounce going to get followed through the weekend? I'll show you what I'm looking at and how I'm positioning for it. So looking at the Bitcoin daily chart, we last checked in and I was talking about how I was not buying the dip at that point in time, and I wanted to see another leg down, and that was when we were bouncing around here, and things just weren't extreme enough for me. Hitting our first daily downtrend in a bit. Whenever we see a trend change, I personally zoom out and use longer term signals. Hourly RSI being oversold in a daily uptrend is not the same as hourly RSI being oversold in the daily downtrend. Same for the 4-hour RSI. So I wanted things to get a little bit more extreme, and that's just me being a little bit more protective and a bit more cautious, not wanting to enter too early. So I did exit some swing positions from the monthly higher low in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I exited a bit more Bitcoin than Ethereum because, as I mentioned in the last video, Ethereum is more clear for me on the weekly time frame. I'm more comfortable with that chart than I am with where Bitcoin stands right now. So I exited a little bit more Bitcoin, but the bottom line is I have cash that I am looking to allocate to scale back into those swing positions during this pullback. I also have cash that I've allocated for short-term trades, and if things get extreme, I will put that cash to work. But for now, re-entering from the swing. And what I've been watching is this falling wedge. I posted it on Twitter yesterday, and we got a really nice bounce off of it. And it's just this downtrending support line that's been in play for a while. When I originally posted it, I had it right about here, and we broke just below it before the bounce got going. So when that happens, I just slightly adjust that line a bit and make it a bit cleaner. And we are now attempting to get over this resistance. This is where I had the line originally, right there. And you could say that we have broken bullish from this pattern and are trying to back test it. If we were to see notable weakness from here, for example, if this is our 4-hour lower high being set and we pull back, same thing. I just adjust this line a little bit. We hit that resistance and we stay within this falling wedge. So I personally started scaling in on this most recent leg down, and it was because 12-hour RSI is oversold. If I go back and look historically, and this is the case for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, the last time 12-hour RSI hit oversold was our last clear weekly higher low. And that's the last weekly consolidation Ethereum has seen was 12-hour oversold, marking the best entry possible. So I want to give myself some exposure where if that happens again, and if this bull market is going to continue into December and into the end of the year, I want to re-enter some of my position. And so that's what I have done. I entered a starter at 57.2. I entered a second position on the break of 56. And at that point in time, I was going to enter every $1,000 to the downside. I would have added more on a break of 55 psychological, 54, 53. And I would have used up all my cash to re-enter the swing. And I would have used up my other cash that's allocated for shorter term trades, day trades, if that happened as well. Because at that point, things would have been very extreme. Now that we have bounced and the 4-hour RSI has cooled off, my game plan changes. I'm not aggressively scaling in at that point. I actually exited a partial position. So I got 2 scale ins. My break even was about 56.6 thousand on it. And I sold half here at the 4-hour EMA 12 resistance. And at that point in time, we were testing my downtrending resistance line here as well. So I sold that, I believe, 57.8 or so. So by selling half of that position at 57.8, I now have a break even of, we'll throw some fees in there as well. Coinbase loves those fees, but 55.5 or so is what my break even is. So my break even is pretty much the lowest price we've seen to this point because I sold a partial position. That is how I trade wedges unless I'm real confident. If I'm really confident and there is a high probability that I feel of the trade, I will add on falling wedges. I will just add every bear break, and I'll add some more here. Well, that's not our first break. I would add some more here, and I would add more here. That's if I'm really confident. If I'm staying conservative, I am adding on a bear break and selling partial into the bounce, anticipating a lower high is the most likely scenario for that bounce. So again, by selling that half position, yes, I'll leave money on the table if this bounce keeps going and the daily bounce gets some follow through. But I'm in a scenario where I sleep like a baby because it takes the price dropping back to the low here for me to even get break even. And again, I have freed up cash now and all the cash that I've got waiting to continue adding, because at that point I'd be watching for daily oversold conditions and I would certainly be looking to establish a daily oversold bounce play. It will be notable to me if this 12-hour oversold bounce takes place, which it is right now, and drops to a lower low. For me, that would be a bit of a red flag, where I say, this time's a bit different than last time. And not the kind of break where we break the low, see zero follow through straight into a bounce. We know crypto loves to do that, but I'm talking about a bear break with follow through down to the low 50,000 range. And again, just comparing to Ethereum, 4-hour time frame bull break. I did not enter Ethereum on this drop. It's having a better bounce than Bitcoin right now. But again, the reason was I had more Ethereum exposure than I had to Bitcoin. So I was just balancing that out a little bit. And we look at the Ethereum 12-hour RSI hit 30. What happened the last time it hit 30? That was our weekly higher low and the best time you could have bought Ethereum over the last month. So the bulls are hoping that that is shaping up again. I'm watching for a 4-hour or 12-hour, wherever you find the most clarity, inverse head and shoulders here. Increasing bull volume, good sign. If we reject from 43.46 or break it with a lack of follow through, we're going to scout a 4-hour higher low. Bulls can look for 4-hour higher low entries. So it's only the most aggressive bulls scaling into weakness. Patient bulls are saying, okay, this is a big enough bounce where I'm looking for that higher low. And I'm going to scale in a few entries, perhaps in the 4100s, maybe one at 4100, maybe 4060, and then stick my stop under that low. And if we drop back to that low and stop me out, that's a red flag. And I will look back at the 12-hour oversold conditions and say, this is different than last time. If that level does not hit, it certainly looks the same as last time. And that would be the potential setup for this inverse head and shoulders, confirming, which would then have us watching for a potential weekly higher low being set, holding EMA 12 support. So if 4-hour trend changes confirm, we zoom out and we scout daily lower highs. And for me on Bitcoin, I consider anything under 66.3 a daily lower high on this bounce. I'm finding a lot of clarity in 4-hour, 12-hour time frames right now. So I may just stick to the 12-hour, look for a 12-hour lower high compared to 61,000 here. If we change the 12-hour trend, then I'll zoom out to the daily. That's probably how I'm going to do it as far as where I find clarity. So I've got some exposure. If I want to add some more on the 4-hour higher low here, I can. But at this point with the Ethereum bounce and the way the ETH BTC chart is shaping up, which we'll look at in just a second, I'll probably add some Ethereum on a 4-hour higher low rather than some Bitcoin. Dominance chart, bear break of a sideways daily equilibrium. What does that tell us? Well, the bear break has taken place over the last, we'll call it 24 hours. What has happened in the last 24 hours? We've been bouncing. So that tells me that the altcoins are bouncing more significantly than Bitcoin is. And again, it's the major altcoins that are bouncing more significantly, as those are the ones that are factored into the dominance chart. Small cap altcoins, they do their own thing. And a lot of the metaverse coins, which we're going to look at, they're doing their own thing and not having a huge impact on the dominance chart. But we can look at this and say the bounce is favoring altcoins. Personally, I like to see that. And we know that in the last year and a half, the majority of the time, it's been the strongest bull market when altcoins are leading the way to the upside. ETH, so we're scouting. Can the bulls shape up a 12-hour trend change back to the bulls? If they do, we'll zoom out, scout a daily lower high, anything under 47.70. But at that point, if a 12-hour trend change is confirmed, bulls are hoping for a big enough bounce to shape up a daily trend change back to the bulls. I like how this ETH BTC chart is shaping up. I've been talking about the 2-week equilibrium, and I have been scouting for a lower high and continued tightening range to form here. But this is a potential weekly bull flag. Very quickly setting a higher low and very quickly testing our recent highs. If we are about to test these two levels, this is a great sign for the bulls in my opinion. Because in my opinion, if we were going to see cryptocurrency weakness, we would likely see the ETH BTC chart drop as Ethereum drops more than Bitcoin. If we're going to see cryptocurrency strength, if Ethereum is going to keep outperforming like it is on this bounce, then we can break out of this sideways 7-month range, and that would be very notable for the bulls. That's a scenario where we look for Ethereum 5,000 plus, in my opinion. So it will be very notable to me if Ethereum takes out these two levels and gets to multiple year highs again on this breakout. And again, the last time we were somewhat range bound, it wasn't significant, but we were range bound here before a clear break to the upside, and that was extremely bullish environment. July and August, what was Ethereum doing in July and August? This. So if we see the same thing, again, this is just bigger picture. So the idea is that a longer term time frame tightening up leads to longer term follow through in a perfect world. So that would be a scenario where if this chart can break these resistance levels and head back towards 2018 highs, we have one more hurdle here, but then things open up a bit. That would be the potential where Ethereum sees new all-time highs into the 5,000 plus range. So again, Ethereum is my gauge for the cryptocurrency space right now because its weekly chart is a lot more clear for me than the Bitcoin chart is. I look at this weekly chart and say, yeah, weekly consolidation was due. Bearish reversal doji confirming. EMA 12 support currently holding. No red flag. Size of the retracement favoring the bulls still. And if this is our weekly high or low, in my opinion, the cryptocurrency market is just fine heading into the end of the year. Watch this ETH BTC chart. Sol USDT. So the other names that I'm favoring for bulls are the names that are very clear on the weekly time frame for me. They're coming from all-time highs or setting up a potential cup and handle like pattern. Sol coming from the all-time high. Plenty of space for the weekly high or low. Still holding EMA 12. Daily time frame solid bounce. 4 hour has not confirmed the trend change yet, but a significant move off the lows creating the space. And the best case for the bulls from here would be a higher low. And again, big time bounce 15%, but we're looking for a higher low. And if we can take out the top of this bounce and 222.78, we'll clear short-term resistance levels. We'll zoom out to the daily. We'll then be looking at a solid bounce on the daily to try and set up a daily trend change back to the bulls for a weekly bull flag to be in play. Can this be a weekly bull flag? Let's retrace measure. It's pulled back a bit more than bulls would like to see, ideally, but so did Ethereum on this weekly consolidation that led to higher highs. So it would be possible to see continuation from here, but we're going to have to regain the daily trend back to the bulls for us to be really confident that the bulls are regaining their control. The dominance chart on the weekly time frame here is a potential bull flag. Inside bar bear break with zero follow through. If the bulls can do the same thing here, confirm a 4 hour trend change, look at all these resistances where if we set a 4 hour high or low and break these levels, we're entering an area without a ton of resistance. There is a ton of resistance, which we are testing right now. And again, the bulls want a big enough move to shape up a daily trend change back in their favor to try for this weekly breakout to test the all-time high if that is a weekly bull flag. Binance is similar in the sense that the weekly consolidation is healthy for me. EMA 12 is still holding, and I like the fact that we have a double top of the all-time high here. And if the bulls can regain the daily trend, it's the same thing. We need the 4 hour trend change. If we get it, we zoom out to the daily. We scout daily lower high. Need the trend change back to the bulls on the daily. If we get it, it's a potential cup and handle like pattern. And again, as I said in a recent video, might have been a members video, but this isn't your picture perfect cup. You got these jagged moves in here, but the psychology is there. All-time high, get right back up to it, fail, healthy consolidation, and then try and break out both of those levels at the same time for some significant follow through. So again, if the lows are set at this point, and that's why the next 4 days of trading are going to be pretty key here. We need a 4 hour trend change to the bulls. We need to shape up a daily trend change to the bulls. If these are our consolidation lows, the crypto space is just fine. If we drop down and break the lows that are currently set, we have to take a step back and say, okay, wait a minute, things are a bit different this time around than the prior times we saw consolidation, and it would make me a lot more cautious as a bull into the end of the year if these current lows break. BNB, BTC, daily time frame, nice equilibrium, testing resistance, weekly perspective, inside bar, and if we can break bull from these inside bars, we're looking right back at our recent high, similar to Ethereum if its sideways range breaks bull. So what do we want to see here? We want to see continued recovery in these US dollar pairings, obviously, but we want to see Bitcoin monthly bear break, or the Bitcoin dominance, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance, lower high, take out this double bottom, fall through that, because what that likely tells me what is taking place is Bitcoin is either holding on well or trading sideways or seeing a small upside or small downside, but the altcoins, Ethereum is breaking bullish from that 7-month range, and Binance, BTC is up at all-time highs. That will likely be taking place if this double bottom support level breaks. And again, look back here when we had a bounce on the monthly that broke bear. It was a double bottom there as well. Let's go back there. Zoom in. September 2017. Still in my 20s. What a time to be alive. September 2017. So we had a double bottom and a solid bounce on the monthly, but when we rolled over, what was happening? So weak bounce here, and then we rolled over. We just had a weak bounce and hoping that we roll over. That was December 18th to January 4th. What was the crypto market doing then? I think we might have topped by then. December 18th. Should have had this prepped in advance. Appreciate you bearing with me. So we got our last high. We pulled back significantly. And during that sideways trading range, end of December into the start of January, that's when some of these altcoins notably outperformed Bitcoin. So December into January, topped out, and then Ethereum got its big breakout and leg up. That's what I want to see. Keep an eye out for that scenario. So a weak bounce, rolled over and broke the double bottom. And again, heading back to this time around. I know there's a hotkey that will do this for me, but I don't know it off the top of my head. Hoping for this weak bounce to roll over and break the double bottom. We'll see. It's even more than a double bottom. It's a double bottom with that 2018 low in play as well. Take out all those levels. That would be the alt season that a lot of people are referring to on crypto Twitter. So now on to our metaverse names. So we've got Sand USDT coming off the all-time high and chilling out with a daily inside bar, trading sideways. No red flags in this consolidation, and actually this tells me volume and volatility are imminent here. Why can I say that? Because the volume is dropping off and we're just trading sideways. So again, if you want to impress people with technical analysis who don't know anything about technical analysis, you can look at this chart and say, we are about to see a spike in volume and volatility, likely within the next 8 hours. And the direction certainly favors the bulls because that's the prevailing trend. We've got EMA support. And what we would want to see from the bulls is a break of 437 all the way up to 446 on the same move, because that would take out 1, 2, 3 resistance levels all at once, increasing bull volume to test the all-time high. If it were to be a bear break, which is possible, it's just the less likely scenario for me, but if that happens and we take out 395 support, that tells us daily consolidation is underway, and that's when we scout an hourly back burner looking for daily higher low. Ideally, that hourly back burner aligns with daily EMA 12 support. So on this kind of setup, there are 2 trades to take. There's the inside bars breaking bullish. What I used to do in a bull market environment back in 2017, I would all in a bull break in my very aggressive mode and instantly start scaling out. So just as an example, if I all in a bull break of 437, I'm scaling out 441, 445, and I'm chipping away to lower my break even and lower my exposure a bit, and then try and keep a solid position for if we see new all-time highs. If that's not your trading style and you don't want to play a breakout and you look at this and say, well, we're a bit too extended on the daily over the last few days, I'd rather be more comfortable buying on consolidation. You're just patiently waiting for first hourly oversold conditions or first 15-minute oversold conditions to be looking for that back burner type bounce. Sand BTC, same deal. It's doing the same thing. It's sideways. If you see Sand USDT breaking bull, you really want to see the BTC pattern doing the same thing, pairing doing the same thing. If it doesn't, that's a red flag. Looks like a 12-hour bull flag. Nope, not enough consolidation yet. A 6-hour bull flag attempt. We will see volatility and volume in Sand overnight tonight. It's 5 p.m. Eastern. Mana USD. So Mana has been playing a laggard. We've been breaking out the last 2 days. Sands breakout started November 16th, and there was a little bit of a laggard move there. So now on Mana, the question is, are we headed back to all-time highs? 4-hour time frame, inside bars just broke bull, but we're not getting a ton of volume and strength and follow through. So we do need to be a little bit cautious. If we lose these hourly high or lows, which are very clear, that would tell us 4-hour consolidation is coming. So key short-term support is 402. I would hope, personally, I don't have a Mana position. I want one. So I would like to see one more daily pullback here for an entry on consolidation before a new all-time high. And Mana BTC closer to its all-time high, but I want to see the same thing. I want to see, give me a chance. Give me a 4-hour downtrend to look for a daily high or low before a cup and handle breakout. So that's where we stand. Focus on these alts. If this dominance chart continues to show us weakness, focus on these alts. If ETH BTC breaks the 7-month range in favor of these bulls, look at how fast these moves can take place once momentum gets going and there's volume. There is no volume here. Watch for the volume spikes. If the breaks are going to be for real, it's going to be a very interesting end of this year. We're either going to get a ton of disappointed bulls or a ton of bulls saying, I told you so, and money raining from the skies. One day at a time, as always. More information every single day that we look at this, and our opinions and probabilities can change with that new information. Mine certainly do. One timer at a time. 4-hour, then 12-hour, then daily. Bulls need to control the weekend, change trends one time frame at a time for ideal bottoms being set, and 12-hour oversold, marking the best time to buy bullish for the next month. So there's a lot of what-if scenarios here, and they may be all erased if the bears come back and drop to a lower low. And we'll certainly check back in soon if that happens. Appreciate you watching. Have a great weekend. Have a great Friday. Do good things, and we will see you soon.